All right, so why don't we introduce ourselves? For the folks out there who don't know who we are. Well, I'm talking, so I'm Will, the drummer. I put Liam is under me. So who are you?
Hey, I'm Liam. I'm the guitarist and backup vocals.
My name is Jay. I play bass and I do backup vocals, sometimes singing.
My name's Andreas. I am a guitarist and singer.
I think I'm in the wrong fucking meeting though. I'm Angelo. I also play guitar and will be singing some backups as well.
Yes, indeed. Angelo's fairly new to the group. Been playing with us for like a year or so. How long?
A little over a year at this point.
Obviously, we're thrilled that you're a part of the band now, and you not only are you talented, but you can so far deal with us in some sort of sane way, which is always a good thing.
Very important.
The rest of us, we've known each other since we were what, like 15? Liam, I've known since I was 2.
You guys even sooner, yeah.
Everybody else, freshman in high school. As it wasn't long after that we started playing in a band. 1993, 94.
Yeah. I was inspired by seeing you guys at that Megan Smith party, and that's what was a big boost for me being inspired to play.
All right, you're wearing the whole shirt.
Yeah. I was so into Nirvana and bands at the time, and you guys played that, and I didn't think that was possible. I was like, they can do that? I was like, I want to do that.
We played it poorly, but we played it.
Yeah, of course.
We just played so loud that no one could tell if we were good or bad,
Yeah, because it was like 2 rooms away. It just sounded cool.
Since then, obviously, we've went from playing student battle of bands, playing covers, so we were a pretty goddamn good cover band. I mean, and then we started getting into originals and playing a lot of great places in the city, like where we play the Elbow Room, Acme Underground. Where else do we play?
Luna Lounge.
Stevie Jeebies.
Oh yeah, CBGB's. Yeah, of course. The Spiral. Remember that place? That shithole. Oh my Lord.
Downtown was another place we played. All gone now. It's crazy.
The Lowdown.
The Lowdown.
Wow, yeah.
The Lowdown in Fleetwood. I can still smell it when I drive by, but it's not there anymore.
It's still on fire somewhere.
Oh, man.
Well, it had all the asbestos like hanging from the ceiling. Angelo, you've been to Lowdown, right?
Dude, I played my first real show at like a club or a bar was at the Lowdown opening for Warrant.
At the Lowdown?
Lowdown. My first real show.
Wow. And effectively Warrant's last show.
Yeah, a lot of good memories. Actually, there were so many great bands that played. Overkill, I remember, played there. I was like, what the hell? It's like old metal band.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Your Idols, actually. I think,
yeah.
I forgot what band I was playing with, but I think I opened for them. Was it with you guys?
We were going to do a fight with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They were mean to the sisters.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. And then
that's right. Who was it? John Cannella went outside and climbed up onto their van and pissed all over their van.
I remember Liam's brother, every time they stopped the song, the only guy in the front, you suck, like 2 or 3 feet away from the singer. Yeah, so obviously we've been playing forever, and then there was sort of this point where I think we had started, we went to college at that point. I mean, it was like, okay, we're really in it. And then, I moved away, which is kind of not the best thing for the band, but we're still playing. And then it was after, that's right. We went to college, we kind of did our own thing for a bit, still played Manhattanville a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, we went full steam ahead trying to get noticed. Right, we got some, and we started to get some attention.
That was when
not that much attention, but yeah,
But after college is when we decided to get money together, and that's when we went to Maine into the whole recording the demo weekend, and like finally, kind of I think had a sound for the first time where we was like cohesive, where it didn't sound like that's Jay's song and that's Andreas' song, that's Liam's song. I think that was probably the most unified the band ever sounded. and then we started to, put press kits together at work and get all that stuff, out.
You mean you did, and maybe Will did. I think you guys like ran that whole gamut of press kits.
You think that we ran that?
Because literally, like they were running out of ink for like important legal documents.
It's the amount of stuff that I did at that paralegal job. I shouldn't even say this. I probably
don't say that. Don't.
I mean,
I can't go on record. Yes, shush. But that, I mean, yeah. So we recorded that demo. It made like I think we didn't go to sleep for like 2 days. Right, we were just 48 hours straight.
And to Andres' credit, the one time I'll give the guy credit for anything, he recorded every single one of those songs in a day. He sang every one of them in one day. So that's I applaud you for that. That was huge.
After throwing up a Maine lobster.
Yeah. and a waffle and a large milkshake, right?
Just a milk, just a big.
Oh no, it's just a
milk.
large. Yeah, let me have a large glass of milk, please. What a terrible idea.
Clam chowder.
Yeah. You treat your vocal gift so well. I mean,
really
yeah, it was
it's so well.
The waitress was like, "Are you sure you want like some tea with honey?" And I was just like, "No, large, creamy, thick glass of milk, please."
Just disgusting. Oh man. Yeah. So we had a great demo, and then we started, reaching out to A&R reps. Yeah, like all bands do, and eventually we got onto. I don't know if this happened before. I think it happened before Ron and Fez with Cleopatra Records. Was that before?
Yes.
Okay. So that was a Weezer tribute album that we got. We became a part of. Right. What did we play?
We played "Tired of Sex."
Tired of Sex, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. We changed up the arrangement on it, it was a good version of it. I thought it was great.
We were on there with some pretty cool bands like the Angry Samoans and Flipper.
Yeah.
Flipper
gave me a little tickle.
Yeah.
We
used to
wore a Flipper shirt.
Yeah. I mean that was pretty dope. And then we entered, the thing we're here to talk about. I mean, we entered this competition at WNEW 1027, which I don't know if they still exist. Are they still
They're still on. 1027 definitely is still a station that I listen to all the time. I don't know if it's WNEW anymore though.
Yeah. But back in the day, that was a huge station, right? And we submitted our demo. Well, the competition was find the best unsigned band in New York. And we submitted our demo and we were chosen. I forget how they did it. I think, did they play the songs on the radio and people called in, or did they just pick the songs themselves? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't recall either.
Yeah. But
the entire state voted for us.
Well,
that's right.
That's exactly what happened. And the other four were just
the tri-state.
The tri-state area. Yonkers. They always say the Latterday Saints from Yonkers. So yeah, we got chosen, one of the top 5, and we actually heard our freaking song on the radio, played like all the time for like a good week. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I have to say that was like the first time I remember being like, this is the like that thing you do moment, like when they hear their song on the radio for the first time in the car, like that's when I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna remember exactly where I am at this exact moment. Like hearing Uncle Flem on the radio was a very cool experience for sure.
Went in there to the station, got interviewed, then we played a sold out show at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, but I mean, that was nuts. I mean, I don't know, like, do you remember like the experience leading up to getting out on the stage?
I thought we played pretty well from what I recall.
We were on that night. We were on that night, and we would have. I think we technically won. The other guys, they just were going nuts. If you remember, they had somebody that wasn't playing, and just because he was able to get free off the stage and go on berserk, not just because of that. I can't take anything away from them. That's totally why they won.
But I think we did. I think we only did lose by 2 votes.
Yeah,
though.
It was so close.
Yeah, so
But I remember that evening for me. I felt like at times I was just on a dolly and just kind of like being like coasting through the night, being like, "This is real." Like, that's Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
There were some wild things that happened that night, and a lot of still shot images as memories for me. One is Matty Q with the bucket of Corona.
Yeah. Right.
was seeing Chris Jericho trip in front of me up the stairs and not knowing if I should like ask him, does he need a hand?
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Didn't you like reach out to like try and stop him from falling or something?
Well, yeah. He fell forward. Thankfully, if he fell backwards, who am I kidding? I wouldn't have been able to catch him at all. I would have been smothered. But I would have tried because I love that dude.
Oh man.
Yeah, then we would have actually lost Jay, but we would have changed the name of the band to Death by Jericho.
Yes.
He probably would have been a fan. I remember the stage moving though, as far as like from underneath us, like just kind of like.
I do remember that.
You know, like in sync to what I was doing, but then also
Right.
not because you guys were also just, like going nuts. We had one of our best nights that night.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I do remember like it was very important for me that night to be like we have to like put a show on.
Yeah.
Like I was like we have to make sure that we're like together. We put a show on that that we bring like a good energy and all that. And I think that I tried to give like a pep talk. I remember from before when I
did.
But
I remember.
I do think that I definitely think we everybody was very high energy and I remember playing well for sure.
So let me play a little bit of the interview. Let's take a listen. We could respond in time.
On Ron and Fez, and they're in the studio getting ready to play the Ron and Festival, a Rockin' Ribs. Howdy, Yonkers. How you doing, boys?
All right,
how you guys doing, buddies? Good. Thanks for having me. All right, it's Jay, Andreas, Will, and Liam. There you go.
You guys are looking great, by the way.
You know what? Don't I look nice tonight? Have you stopped?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Where do you guys normally play?
Down here, usually East Village, West Village, kind of couple of. We play at these places.
Elbow room, downtown.
Very eloquent.
From next week.
We play at these places.
You want to name drop. I respect that.
Looking cool,
Oh, it's looking great.
We'll see you guys back over at the Hard Rock.
Okay, cool. We're gonna make sure.
Latterday Saints. Thanks a lot, you guys. And the song's great, man. It's so radio that it is radio. That's Uncle P. What's the name of the song?
It's actually Uncle Flem.
Uncle Flem.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
It's so radio that it is radio. So why Uncle Flem? Where that name come from?
That name, if I recall correctly, and you guys keep me honest here, I want to say we were recording Brooklyn James in Brooklyn, and we, as we normally did, we would have the music done, but then there were no lyrics for anything, so we were writing the lyrics in the studio. And I remember that,
Like finishing the song up as we're writing the lyrics.
right? And that was one of the newer. That was the last song that we had written right before we put that demo out, and then I remember looking around and it was like, well, what's the name of the song? And I think he had something called like Uncle Wiggly or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was like a record that, and the name of something was like Uncle Wiggly on it. I don't know if it was a song name. And then I'm not kidding. I think Andreas like coughed or something like that. And then it was like, oh, like Uncle Flem. And that was like as much thought that went into it. Real profound shit right there.
I'll keep it coming.
Yeah, that's how we make history. So we had, there were tons of A&R reps there, and we were like at the top of our world. Then it kind of all collapsed, and that was kind of a bummer. I mean, why do you think, why did everything fall apart, do you think?
Well, I can speak for obviously my experience. We did get a lot of responses, even though they were negative, from some labels, which wasn't the hugest piece of it. But I think that maybe just through college and life, we were all going separate ways, and we really tried our best and did a good job of trying to unite. But we were all just really being pulled, and also willingly going in different directions.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we probably all just stopped giving 100%. And then that 90% turned into 80%, and it just turned into kind of what it did.
Yeah.
But I think the one cool thing about it is that we also did our best to remain buds throughout it.
Oh yeah. I think that's
we're that before we were even a band.
Oh, totally. And music friction aside, I don't think maybe it affected our relationships here and there, but it never permanently affected.
Right.
Kind of
We were definitely going different directions musically. There's no question at that point. Like, I feel like it was very like touch and go. Andreas, if you remember, was actually not in the band before the show. That's
right. Yeah. And I was thinking about that because so we had got into the competition, I believe, after the band was like over.
Essentially.
We did all this stuff.
There was a big there was like, I forget the whole reasoning behind it, but I do remember, like, if we're, being honest, like I would come down after work, because I lived an hour north of you guys at that point, and we'd come down to jam, and then there would be days upon days that would go by where like dudes just wouldn't show up, right? And then we wouldn't jam, and then I'd go home, and that was it. And that, obviously there was like a pattern going there, and understandably so, people were doing different things. And I think then something happened. Andres, do you remember when you and Will got into it? Was that already?
No, that was like
done?
way before, I think.
That was before. Yeah. Did that lead to the split, or was that like a different occasion?
No. Actually, I think the split was that because of the fact that I was distracted because I was playing with Afflatus.
Yeah.
And that was an issue too. And I remember you guys were like, "Listen, like it's taking a lot of time and opportunities away from us to get together, and you're kind of stretching yourself thin here, and we're only getting like parts of you." And it was, and then obviously other things too. It wasn't just that, but
yeah. So I do remember so then we got accepted into this, and then we were jamming together, and everything. We all came to the consensus of like, all right, if we're going to do this, and this is like our time in the spotlight, if you will, we have to go forward with like the best lineup, right? And, so we were like, all right, we should have Andres back in the band. So we all went to Tower Records, where Andres was working at the time. And we're like, listen, this is a big opportunity. We've been wanting this for a long time, blah, blah, blah. And, would you jam with us again? And he said yes. And I remember when we got back into the basement, we had like the triple rectifiers were in the basement at that point.
Ooh, yeah.
And we jammed again, and it was like, oh, fuck. All right, yeah, this is like really good.
Yeah, that was a nice moment in time, because I thought now that I remember, the split was pretty bad. Like I remember just yelling at Andreas in the street like a madman. I had no idea why, but I went totally insane. And then I was like, I'm never gonna. Oh shit! I gotta ask this dude to be back in the band. How the fuck am I gonna do that? But emotions die down, and people start to see the light, and good old friends stay that way. So yeah, it worked out. And then there was all this hope, and then it kind of collapsed again. But like to Jay's point, I think at that moment we're exploring different paths in life and tastes and whatnot. But we kept jamming over the years.
Yeah, I mean, we jammed, and then I think Jay and Andreas were very much into the punk scene then, and they started O'Reilly, and then I think I started TV around that time, so I was trying to make a career in that, and then you
moved to Los Angeles.
Right, you moved to LA, so I just think it was like, it was inevitable that it was going to happen regardless.
When we're actually playing together and not really talking to each other, necessarily, just in the music, it's just the most beautiful thing. So anyway, I mean, and the band for me has left a huge imprint on me. It's informed me as an individual in so many different ways. And that in many ways was the inspiration for the movie, which uses songs that we recorded, those songs from that demo 20 years ago that we recorded. Much of it wasn't touched. Like the stuff's in the movie, it's like most of that is just straight from the demo, which is kind of crazy. And that kind of gave us another second chance, if you will, at the dream. I mean, we're not huge going to be huge rock stars. Maybe we'll be huge rock stars. I don't know, but we're over 40, so that maybe is detrimental to the brand. But we got noticed. Soundtrack won a bunch of awards, and we got signed. Our songs went to vinyl exclusively through Record Store Day, and we got signed by Rhyme Reason Records. So that's what we're here doing now, making our debut album. Is that like our debut record, right? It's a debut album, because the other one's a demo. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess this would be considered But
now we actually have lives. We have human beings that depend on us to do things like feed them and make money, and hell of a lot more responsibilities than we had. I'm certainly, my joints hurt. I mean, man, I'm older now. Playing the drums is not the most painless thing. So how are we doing with this? Are we going all the way, or what? What's happening here?
I'm gonna get a drink.
To see how far we can go with this, no kidding. involved. I mean, why not? I've always felt that we've had something that just need, it's not always about, it's about who you know and opportunities, not necessarily always about skill and talent. So yeah, I mean, I would love to. I think my daughter thinks I'm a rock star already, in some way.
Well, that's
Like
a given, yeah.
If I can keep that up and kind of even escalate it,
yeah.
Why not?
But here's the thing, man. Like now, with what's happening now, I mean, things are becoming even more virtual, right? So it's not. I mean, I don't know when the next concert is even going to happen. Like, what's going to happen to touring?
Yep.
So for guys like us that are a little bit older, whatever, we have equipment at home where we have absorbed a lot of knowledge technically. Like shit, man, this might be our outlet.
I've already in the past 7 weeks I've attended 2 concerts already, virtual concerts.
Me too, actually. I've seen the Bubble Guppies band and.
So Angelo, how do you feel about being a part of this motley crew?
I feel great, man. I'm just, I've been writing with these guys, for about a year now. We got some really good stuff cooking up. I'm just, we got like one jam in, the 5 of us, before this shit hit the fan.
Or the world ended.
So I'm just anxious to get us to that next point where we could actually play together to some capacity.
I mean, you have to admit that like it is kind of funny that like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not the current situation, obviously, that we're living in right now, but the fact that like Will has been in LA for the last 14 years. He like does everything. He spends like $1 million like outfitting the basement with unbelievable equipment and like the most the most up to date like recording stuff and all that. And then we jam once. And they're like, yeah, the world is just
the world ends.
We may have broken the world.
There's something in the universe that they don't want us to succeed. I don't know what it is, but something out there. Yeah,
it really tries.
It really does try, because it's so sad. I go down in that basement. I'm like, it's really nice to kind of just walk around, kind of look at these things.
You stare at it. You stare at it.
But I'm really excited about the songs that you guys have been putting together. I mean, there's really, really great stuff in there that, I mean, I can hear on the radio. I mean, I know I'm biased, but I think it's I think it's some of the best stuff that we're going to be doing, really. I mean, what do you guys think about like, if you were to, it's a tough question to articulate, but clearly we're not the same band because 20 years is 20 years. But what does our sound like now? I mean, how we evolved? Is there any way to describe that?
Well, it's funny, man. I was thinking about that earlier when I was reading over some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And the collaboration that we had for that EP was a big part of us kind of creating the sound that we had.
Yeah.
And it kind of not exactly picked up where we left off, but it's kind of similar to that. Like an example would be like, let's say I have like a verse, and then Liam's like, wait, I think this chorus would work. That's pretty much exactly what happened for Turbulence. And that's happening a lot. You've mentioned a couple times that you would like to kind of not know who wrote the songs.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that will be the case. And I, for one, and I've said this multiple times, but I'm super proud of almost everything that we've been working on. It's been a lot of fun.
And how much of our lives now being adults with responsibilities, how much does that inform the music? What are these songs about? Like, what's different? Like, thematically, what's different? Like, do our home lives impact the art?
With my lyrics, probably. I've always been really focused on lyrics and very shy about, writing good lyrics. I've always not really been confident about that. Instead of writing about, being sad that someone's not gonna, like me or whatever, I find myself writing about, my daughter and how I'm proud to be her dad, or not proud in certain situations.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that as far as like the evolution part, I have a feeling that we're gonna see a lot of interesting things happening because of the fact that we're older, we're more mature, our musical tastes have changed. We've been exposed to different styles of music, or we have like our own little, like, we feel more confident in what we like and how we sound and so forth. So I'm curious to see, like, and again, because I haven't really been able to see you guys. I was really excited after that first rehearsal together with the 5 of us. I was like, oh, finally, like we're so that's why it's such a kick in the ass, and exactly like what Liam was saying earlier, like the fact that, and I've been saying it over and over, the fact that you went through this whole gamut of, upending your entire life, coming here, finally get in there, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna have to just take a pause. So, but at the same time, like I feel like we're like, I can just sense like that we're all, well, you're a little, you haven't been playing the drums for a while, and you said it before, you're a little like achy, maybe you got to get back into the swing of things, and I didn't work all those joints out. But
I didn't even, well, just interrupt you for 1 second. Yeah, I didn't even mention that. I remember the last text that we thread about rehearsing was like, it was like a Monday. It's like, oh, are we going to rehearse tonight, or whatever the day was, Wednesday. And I think Angelo was like, well, maybe we should wait, see what's going on with the coronavirus. Like, oh yeah, let's wait a week and see what happens. Literally a week after that, I got the fucking coronavirus. I got it. It was like, what kind of luck is that? No jamming. I moved cross country, band disappears, and then I get the fucking coronavirus.
Right, and now all that equipment that you bought, I'm not going fucking near that.
Yeah.
I've just spit just all over it, just out of spite and anger. Oh man, yeah, that's nuts. But I'm glad all you guys are okay so far.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, Liam, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that I would say the biggest difference for me has just been like when I actually have the time to do it, I try to make it as like productive as possible. You know what I mean? We're in the past. Like, think about how many hours you could just sit around and just jam and you had no responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So now I feel like I am more structured in a way where I'm like, okay, if I have a riff that I like or that I've jammed on for a while, like I'm gonna see this riff through and I'm gonna work it through every angle that I can, try different things or patterns or any different strumming or whatever, just to make it seem like I get some sort of productivity out of it after like an hour, because I pretty much have like an hour every other day maybe.
Yeah.
That I can do something, and then but then I do also feel like when I get it to a point it's good, I'm not going to show you guys something anymore now that I don't feel like is at least somewhat realized.
Yeah.
We're in the past. I mean, again, that's just because what the situation that we're in now.
Well, that's the thing, because it's just like I was hoped, and when I was out in California, it was all like, well, we all can't wait till we're all in the same room together to vibe and jam and stuff. Because so much, obviously, we bring stuff to the table, but that's where everything just becomes cohesive. And then literally that plan gets exploded because of this. And now we're back to doing the same thing, writing on our own. I mean, I'm not doing much writing, although I am becoming more technical. Like I'm starting to write out, the drum beats and just making sure. I think as far as the way my drumming has evolved, there used to be, I used to like to be a little bit fancier, but now I kind of Foo Fighters-esque approach to it, kind of pretty simplistic, very hard rock 4/4, but adding kind of weird shit here and there, and making sure I don't improv. Maybe the shows or whatever, but just try to get that down and have that arrangement be its own sort of cohesive piece of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think that's good, because we used to call you Fancy Feet back in the day.
Did you really? Yeah, Fancy Feet. Yeah.
No, but to that point, that song "Inside Out" that we had, what you were doing in the verse, I feel like really like it stepped it up. Like I wasn't sure what the drums were going to sound like, and we were cycling through different beats, and then once you hit it, I was like, oh yeah, that's the one it should be. So
yeah. So Angela, which member of the band do you like playing with the best?
Ooh, that's a dirty question.
That is dirty, but shit. it's
You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer.
It could be rhetorical.
no. It was.
Oh, you have to answer.
It's great to play with you the couple times that I got. You know,
Fuck.
I play with Jay the most. I love playing with Jay. I love collaborating with Jay. But I gotta say, I'm the most surprised. I'll word it that way, at how well my style vibes with Liam's writing style. As much as I love everyone's like taste and style, I feel like Liam's style is the most similar to mine. I think because we both love shit like Def Leppard and bands like that. So that comes out in his writing, and that's, you know. So I would, you know, I love playing with all you guys, man. It's a bunch of different, you know.
But just to be clear, he likes me the best.
You guys do vibe.
Let me just quickly, a quick funny story. This was like early on, like we had just started to jam with Angelo. I don't know, you know, about a little over a year and a half ago. And I want to say this was at the record release party in Yonkers, and we were at the brewery afterwards, and, you know, everyone's having a drink, and, you know, obviously Angelo and I still filling each other out. And Angelo was like, you know, like, and then he's like, oh yeah, he's like, we're vibing, right? And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, we absolutely are vibing. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, good. Because I definitely was like, there's definitely like a shorthand there already, which was nice. Because I feel like all of us have the shorthand. And I feel like being able to like look at Angelo during practice and both of us kind of anticipate where the next thing is going to go is, you know, I was like, okay, that's going to be good.
You know, even when we recorded the demo with technically 2 guitarists, you guys added so much. Like there's a thickness and layering effect that I think is just a part of our band. And also that is recently sort of become a part of your vocals too, right? Because more than ever before, the vocal harmonies are taking on this sort of choral textural effect, which is, I think, probably, as far as, you know, obviously I'm excited about drumming, but I'm really excited to see where you guys take the vocal harmonies, because that you guys are doing stuff that we've never really explored before. I think that's the newest, most interesting thing to me about the band.
Yeah, the vocals are sounding really cool when we have something established and we're all just on. There's moments of just like choral, as you put it, like choral magic. It's just like velvet sounding vocals.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got like a really nice range, and everybody can like hear mids and lows and highs and kind of get there. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I think that's a big thing now is, and also I always say to these guys whenever we're jamming, I'm like, I love like the big chorus. Like I'm all about the big chorus and like the harmonies and like the Def Leppard stuff. I love it, but I feel like it has this, you know, 90s, you know, also just like straight up rock vibe that we've cultivated over the last, you know, the entirety of the band.
Yeah, look, I think like, and Andrea said this before earlier in a text, like our stuff, obviously we're biased, but I truly think our stuff holds up. Like it does. You listen to it, it doesn't, yeah, it might sound 90s-ish, but if I hear it on the radio, it sounds contemporary, you know? I mean, like the Blackwell, which we're trying to get, which is a song no one's heard yet, which hopefully will be released. It's going to be remixed. Sounds great, you know? And for me, I'm glad I even got to take one take of drums out on that song, because it's a killer, but I'm really happy with it.
I'm sorry. Well, I will never forget. Do you remember what happened in that song?
Yeah, do tell, please. Yes, I remember.
So we went back up to the same place in Maine to record the Blackwell, and you know, it's a very like it's a tough song to play on the drums. It's fast. It's got a lot of changes. It's
nonstop.
You know, it's nonstop. It's like a punishing song. So we're all in the same room, and you know, the amps are obviously isolated, and we're going through this song, and I remember we got through I want to say it was 90% of the song. It was literally the outro of the song, right?
Yeah.
And we're going, and I remember looking around being like, oh my God. This was the first take. being like, we fucking
Hit it.
Like we nailed it. We played this song better than we've ever played this song. And just as I'm doing that, I'm like looking at Jay, and like Jay's feeling it, and you know Andre's feeling it. And then I look over at Will, and Will's feeling it, and then the stick just goes out of his hand.
It's your fault. You looked at me. All your fault.
But think about it.
Did you have to do ultimately?
We had to replay. We started it from scratch.
Yeah, and I didn't hit it in the next take either. It took a few after that. That was terrible to think about. And people watching this who are like 10 years younger than us, they're probably saying, "Well, why? Well, how is that a problem? You know, just Pro Tools." Yeah, but we couldn't do that before. We were recording straight to 2-inch tape. We couldn't fucking. I mean, I guess if I listened to a click and punch it in, but it just wouldn't have been. There was no Pro Tools. Yeah, devastating.
But it's still a very good drum track on the.
Oh yeah, and I love it, man. It's like, you know. See, the thing with me is I just got to get practice back in, and then it's an endurance test. It's like a sprint, that song. But I love the drums on that. It's hard hitting. One of my favorite things I've played on drums, even though I always hate when you guys want to play it. It's still one of them.
Well, we used to try to be so strategic about where to place it in our sets too.
Oh yeah.
We'll
you were always saying that.
Right. Because Will's weak. So
just be like what?
I got tennis elbow. It's killing me.
You even play tennis, sir?
No, but I got tennis elbow.
Because you're gonna need some performance enhancing drugs.
Oh, and it's also, if it comes out this month, I've also been promoting No Alternative this month because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the Blackwell also hits on mental illness. You guys talk about that at all?
I don't know if we can tell that story of why Andreas named it that.
Well, yeah. No.
We don't have to name names, even though he named it that.
Yeah, it was about somebody who was close to all of us in some way. And you know, something somewhat tragic happened to him, and we all felt it.
Yeah. And that was before people really talked openly about mental illness.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
It was. I mean, still, it's a different world now, but it's still kind of in the dark.
And thankfully, he's still with us, and he loves the song.
That's great. That's really good to hear.
Actually, you know, when I wrote that song, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning in my bedroom with like headphones on in the dark, and I was still living at home. My mom's in the next room, and she would come in every now and then and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, I'm trying to sleep. And I was just so vibing at the moment that I just couldn't stop. That track was actually, technically, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to play it with us as a band, because I was in another, like 1 or 2 other bands, I forgot. But just because of the fact that I was worried that the person who inspired the song might hear it and be like, what the fuck? But I remember even the last time we played it live, we played it at the last show when you were promoting No Alternative.
Yeah. I love the song, but there's something about it that it's like, it's a little bit outside of our wheelhouse, right? To a certain extent. We listen to it, it's kind of like, that doesn't, yeah, we're doing it and doing it great, but it's not quite our sound, but it's still cool. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
That has always been the interesting part, I feel like, of this band, is that, like, you know, everybody has proven that they can write a good song, right? And I think that, you know, in the past it would be like, oh, well, that's a good song, so we're just going to play it, obviously. And then, you know, if Jay wrote a song, like, you know, but then,
well, like, Turbulence is like, I mean, Jay, like, that one is definitely one of my favorites that we play. That's always been one of my favorites.
And that was a great collaboration.
But I will say, Will, you're the way you changed the drum patterns on that song from what they were, like, I remember at first I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I like it, you know, because it was different and new, and I was just like, oh, but listening to it now, I'm like, to me, it's like
Blackwell. You talking about?
Yeah, the Blackwell.
Yeah.
Sorry, when the drums changed from, because I had them on a drum machine with like that insane cut time that was not even humanly possible. Probably. Yeah. But when you changed it, I like, now listening to it, I'm just like, that's the way it should have been. Like, that, to me, that's just the way it should be. And I remember having that like point where I was like, oof, is this going to be good? And it's like the song is just so much better the way it is now.
I enjoy playing it.
And yeah, and then you die after that.
Well, yeah, it has to be the last song, or I just don't play it. It's like I was like listening to it. So what you know, I mean, we're doing this album. We actually have a freaking contract with a record label. We're going to be releasing an album. Depending on the pandemic, who knows? I mean, it was supposed to be this year, maybe next year. It's happening. And then where are we going? What's the future of Latter-day Saints?
Done. Over.
We accomplished the goal. Retirement.
Early retirement.
Yeah. Doesn't sound that bad, actually.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I still think it's very early in that we have not played together, the five of us, much, you know, and obviously we did break up for a reason 17 years ago. So can we get back to a place where everyone's like good? Or, you know, I mean, I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
Also, just things being the way they are, too, could make it more difficult or even easier. Like we could be on tour, you know, sitting at home, each as individual.
Right.
Who knows what's in store? But I'm excited, and I'd like to, you know, like I was saying earlier, just keep going as far as I can.
Did you the way you said I can? Did you say that? Selfish.
I'm just gonna keep going. You know, yeah.
Well, you know, I think some good songs are going to come out of this isolation because it's driving everyone mad.
I feel like what's going to happen, at least when I talk about it, I'm like, I can't wait for that moment when we get back together, because it's going to be like, you know, that like when you, and I guess I'm going to take it to like a dating kind of scenario where you're like, you've got this like chemistry with a girl, you're texting or you're calling or whatever, and then it's your first meeting, and you know, and things are going well, and then all of a sudden you know, you go back to her place or your place or some place, and that moment, that first moment, that initial moment when you just, you know, plug it in to the amp. Oh.
Yeah, it'll be something, but yeah, I love all you guys, and great to talk to you, and let's keep on doing what we're doing. And you guys out there, keep an eye out for, hopefully we're going to put out a special release, Blackwell. We'll see. Keep an eye and ear out for that. And stay tuned.
Yeah, stay safe, everyone.